Hello, people sitting in the house doing today. I just want to say, there could be election next week. Next week could be an election. I don't know. The only people who know that it's the higher ups, Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael. They know if there's going to be election. And, I'm going to say this, and I don't want to change people's opinion on who to vote for, who they don't vote for. It's entirely up to people. You have freedom of expression, freedom of opinion to vote for whoever you want. But I'm going to say this. Fine Gael's been governor for 4 years. We have an unbelievable, in the foundation of the state, there hasn't been such a mess up as this now. Like, my good God, 10,000 people homeless everywhere across Ireland. There's loads and loads of people in emergency accommodations and hotels and B&Bs. Nearly, the majority, some young children spend all the nearly youth, young life in a hotel. And that's terrible. That's really terrible for a country that's in Europe. And we see so much suffering in our hospitals. Any hospital you go into, you see people lying on trolleys. You see people lying on chairs because they haven't even got trolleys in some hospitals. They haven't got enough of them. And you just wonder, why the hell do we bother voting Fine Gael in if they're just going to stand there and do nothing? We see so much problems in this country, and I'm saying to people, if this was any other government, if any government at all could do anything, one problem should be fixed. As simple as that. I know it's a big problem. You can't just wave a magic wand and say, there'll be houses for everybody. I know that. I'm very aware of that. But as I said, there's so many abandoned houses across Ireland, across Cavan, across everywhere that could be bought by the local authorities. Bought up, done up. Wada boom, bata. You have your I don't know what that word was, but anyway, you have your house. If you do them up, if you do houses that are being left abandoned, if you do them up and they'll be like brand new. But the local authorities, that's too much effort for them and too much talking and too much doing stuff. It's too much effort for them. And obviously, this is the biggest thing the biggest thing that's on the way down the government is obviously the housing crisis and the homelessness crisis. And it's terrible. Like, I'm just thinking here, God Almighty, why do we suffer so much with 3,000 children homeless? Like, why do we suffer? What have we done to suffer this much? Like, honestly, there's so much wrong with this country at the moment. I'm just thinking to myself, and I'm just, horrified to even look into my head and see, the things you see on the internet about people eating off the street, more or less. And, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking for anybody. Anybody who doesn't find it heartbreaking, I don't know. I really, really don't know. And, you see so much stupidity in this government. Go to commemorate the Black and Tans. Spend state resources on commemorating the Black and Tans. What a great country we have. We just, honestly, we don't have a better government, to be honest. Why should we have elections? We should just vote Fine Gael every time. Because it's stupid. It's really, really stupid. And the €1 million printer they got. Sure, Jesus Christ, it's the pride of Ireland. It's up in Dáil Éireann. They knocked down walls and everything. Here's the best part of it. Best part coming up here now, lads. They never used it. They knocked down walls, they put it in place. They bought a €1 million for printer. They never bothered to use it. What a great country we have. Like, honestly. And you expect these clowns are in government. And these clowns are getting 96,000 to 100 and God knows how much thousand a year. And we have these in government of Ireland. What kind of joke are they? It's like, honestly, what joke? Like, honestly, it's a bad joke. And it's really terrible joke, Beyonce. And the people say it might be a bit harsh on it, but good God Almighty, if you're in government for 4 years, I understand in your 4-year government and go a bit easy on you. But my God Almighty, let's be serious for a second. But 4 years and you haven't even remotely got anything. Like the National Children's Hospital. He's absolutely made a mess of it. Like, he's made an absolute mess. You put it in the middle of... You're blocking up half of the city by putting it where you're putting it. And you have no helipad for the helicopters. It's just, the thought of everything. This government, and they spend so much money on stuff. They have just great ideas in this government. They just, honestly, like I say to people, and I say this very formally to people, and I say this if there's an election in the morning, please take before you vote, and say to yourself, what has Fine Gael done? And I know that one more thing before I say it, Fine Gael supporters, I'm not saying all Fine Gael supporters, but the majority of them are farmers. How do I know that? Because I know so many farmers who voted Fine Gael, who old school, I suppose you would say, and have always voted Fine Gael. Since they've got their voting card, they always voted Fine Gael because that was the way they were brought up. You vote for the same party all the time. And they've changed. And it's a miracle. Honestly, I'm just gobsmacked that some of them, 60 years in this earth. And all of a sudden they completely went against Fine Gael and they won't vote again. They will never go out and vote again in any election. And that's some of the loyal supporters just thrown out the door. And what Fine Gael done with trying to buy beef from Brazil and this crazy stuff. It's crazy. I know farmers, the amount of farmers I've known that just absolutely went against Fine Gael. And that's, they're very, very loyal supporters. And Fine Gael just let them walk off. That's terrible. That's really, really terrible. And then they come along with the black and tan thing and they're just fantastic. I honestly don't, is he actually able to know what country he's in? Because I think he might think he's in some other country. But the only thing I hope that he won't be Taoiseach again, no matter, I don't care who it be. But, I'm willing to give anybody else a chance. But I'm not, Liam Falk hasn't done anything at all to do any good at all. As I said with the St. Patrick's Day thing, and I said in the last few videos ago, if they do that, I would have a bit of respect for them. But, respect goes out of the window if they don't do anything. I'm here and I'm saying, honestly, if I was Minister for Health, as simple as that, I might as well put it straight. If I was Minister for Health, I would do, I would take pay reductions, as simple as that, to get something sorted. Because I would not have people suffering in any department if I was governor. I would rather just end up in a hole. As simple as that, I would rather end up 6 feet under. Because I'm that type of person who doesn't care about, myself. I'm more worried about the welfare of the country, the welfare of the state. I couldn't give a damn if I end up in a lake. As simple as that, as long as everybody was okay. Damn all do I care about myself, and that's really the truth. If you give me one cup of tea a day and a sandwich, I'd be happy enough and, wouldn't be too bothered after that. It's honestly, that's the type I am. And it's very unlikely to get a few of them politicians in all out again. But anyway, we should see.